Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Triple Double Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Eddie Fitzgerald.
I'm Cam McKee.
I'm Hunter Nicely.
And we got a lot to talk about today. We have our first trade of the NBA season. The Milwaukee Bucks have received, in return for Greg Monroe and a couple of picks, Mr. Eric Bledsoe, the man who took the fine for tweeting out that he didn't want to be in Phoenix anymore. So the trade has finally happened. We've been kind of skeptical about where he was going to be. Some said that he might end up on the Cavs. Some said that he might end up on the Nuggets. But he has ended and landed in Milwaukee. And I want to ask you guys, what is your biggest thoughts about this move?
Well, I love this trade for the Milwaukee Bucks. It's definitely not. It's not going to bring them a championship or anything, but I mean, it kind of takes them a little bit to a next step. Now, Giannis won't have quite as much pressure to be scoring 30-plus points a game because right now it seems like that's how they're winning right now. It's because Giannis is just going off. So he's gonna defend just like everybody on the Bucks does well. Decent shooter, good playmaker, very very athletic. I'm excited to see how he does in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think this is my biggest takeaway is the Bucks just admitting and throwing out that the big man is not like a necessary attribute to this team because like Greg Monroe, there's no one after him. Thon Maker, you can make the argument, but he's still very young. They have a great lineup as is. They don't really need a big guy because I think they still have the tallest lineup.
Yeah, they have so much.
I'd be shocked if they did.
Everybody's big.
They're just all a big team, so they don't really need a center. So I like them trading away Greg Monroe in this deal.
Yeah, I think that Greg Monroe needed to go. They have John Henson, who's a nice, good rim protector and rebounder. But I think the biggest thing coming out of this deal is Milwaukee's now commitment to their core. You're now looking at an extra guy who's making about $15 million on the books for not only just this season, but next season. Greg Monroe's contract was expiring, so he would have been off the books. So this kind of hinders them in free agency a little bit, I would say. But at the same time, you're looking at the potential free agents, which are, kind of just a tease at this point because we all know pretty much where everybody's going if they're not going to stay to take their, max contracts. You're kind of looking at maybe a DeMarcus Cousins would go there in free agency, but other than that, you're not getting a point guard. And so you have a point guard for the future, which works. You got Delly coming off the bench, which is helpful. Brogdon coming off the bench, which is nice. And I think that lineup works. Like it can work. Thon Maker, he had a decent, promising young rookie season. He's kind of taken a step back this year, and he just needs to be, he needs to step up if he's gonna, be the center moving forward for this team.
Right. Yeah. The only thing I'd be just a little bit skeptical on with this trade is just the fact that Eric Bledsoe has been, the last couple of years, caught the injury bug. Over the last 4 seasons, he's missed just a hair over 100 total games. So he's only been, he hasn't been on the court a ton. So hopefully he can stay healthy, but that would be the only thing I'm really skeptical about. It's really great to see that they got rid of an expiring contract, Greg Monroe, and they got Eric Bledsoe out of an expiring contract. That does not happen very often. So they gave up a first-round pick, but I mean, it's not gonna mean a whole lot.
And there are protections on the pick itself.
Yeah, it's a little goofy.
It's a little weird. As far as those protections go, I believe it's got to fall within like the mid rounds for the Bucks to get it, or not mid rounds, teens for them. Not the Bucks, the Suns to get the pick, which is possible, but you're never out of the question if like a couple injuries happen. So I think that's good for them. I think that the Bucks, while they are a decent team, they are starting to take the next step, but they need to, they'll have to pay a lot of money to, Jabari Parker this coming off season if they want to retain their core.
I don't know. I wouldn't do that. I don't know.
It's hard.
I don't know.
We haven't seen him. He hasn't played.
I mean,
he's played, but he hasn't played in a year
recently,
and he hasn't played since he hasn't played.
Whenever he was back last year after his first initial ACL tear, he played pretty well, but I mean, now it tears it again. I mean, I don't know if I can give him
return like around the All-Star break.
That's bad. Like, that's...
Yeah, it's a rough situation for Milwaukee because Jabari's obviously a talented player. We're talking about somebody who's averaged 20 points a game last year on that Milwaukee team, and who
that would
be a nice shooter around Giannis.
Yeah, that'll take a lot of pressure off of Giannis if he can score 20 a game.
It's difficult, and he's a pretty decent defender and a nice rebounder, averaging about 6 boards a game. He just needs to, if he can be healthy and show that he can be healthy, then it's going to be very hard for Milwaukee to not want to bring him back, because you're going to either have to match him or find somebody of equal value in free agency with about $9 million in cap space.
That's going to be tough for 20 points a game, $9 million.
Or you go into the luxury tax and you take the risk with a Jabari Parker.
Yeah, they might have to.
Which is exactly what I'm saying. So it's like, or you have to match, like, you either have to extend him now, or you have to match him whatever the Brooklyn Nets are going to offer him this offseason.
Of course, who doesn't Brooklyn offer a
Because
contract?
Brooklyn's going to offer him a max with a 15% trade kicker.
Because they can do it.
Because they can do it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very difficult for the Bucks financially moving forward with this deal. I get that you need to move and look for a better point guard to put around Giannis, and maybe this will help, but I don't think it turns you into a contender just yet. Moving on into other news, the Philadelphia 76ers have not picked up the option on Jahlil Okafor, meaning that they are working on a buyout deal, or they will be trying to trade him for whatever value he has left.
Yeah, I saw a notification the other week. It was Celtics top interested buyer,
yeah.
and that made me, it hurt a little bit.
I'm
don't
interested
want
to see,
That's all
because
I'm
I think
gonna say.
he hasn't really gotten. The times he has played for Philly, he's been okay. Definitely not the player he looked like in college. In college he was so dominant. He got double teamed almost every possession. And you really saw he had such a great passing ability when he was at Duke University. We haven't really seen that as much when he got to the NBA. I still believe that he has that in him, that he can be a nice, solid starting center in this league, but we just haven't seen it with Philly, so hopefully we can see it with somebody else.
It's an interesting situation for Jahlil Okafor. He's kind of, like, everybody says that, he was yesterday's big man, you know what I mean? Like, he's a good, nice post scorer, some guy who can dish it down low. He reminds me the most of, like, an Al Jefferson player, like back when Al Jefferson was on the Jazz. Nice low post star. Will be able to grab you some rebounds. Not the greatest defensively, but can pass very well out of the post.
Definitely, yeah.
And
he
gets to score. He gets to score.
He's only 21 years old too,
so
he's got a long career left ahead of him.
And if you take a look at a team like the Phoenix Suns or Chicago Bulls,
the Phoenix Suns are in there. They're a good discussion. You might see Greg Monroe.
Well, they
said go somewhere else.
Yeah, they might move Greg. They said they want to try to move Greg Monroe. If not, they're just gonna buy him out or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Greg Monroe, as a whole, Jahlil Okafor as a whole, can still bring value to your organization if you use him correctly. And I think that the Sixers do not have the team to use him correctly. They need spacing around Ben Simmons. They need somebody who can defend very well, considering that we'll have a JJ Redick out there, and being able to have that quality rim protection from your second unit is just something that it's very hard to come by.
Yep.
Right, and I'm still a firm believer in that to be able. Right now, obviously, Golden State Warriors are just the top team in the league. I still believe the only way really to defeat them is I think you still need to slow it down, half-court basketball, whereas a guy, Jahlil Okafor type, back to the basket, he's going to score in the post. I still believe right now that is the best way to beat a Golden State Warriors type team. So I wouldn't be surprised if, I'm not saying Jahlil Okafor is going to be, the Warriors stopper, but I wouldn't be surprised
it's almost
to see a team succeed more against the Golden State Warriors if they put in some kind of system with a player like Jahlil Okafor.
It's almost like you need a good defense to beat the Warriors. You know who has the best defense in the NBA right now? No, the Boston Celtics. So
They can't just play Eastern Conference Finals. It's going to be a 5-game series with the Cavs going.
Wow.
Finals. So don't get ahead of yourself.
I'm not saying the Boston's going to go on, but 5 games?
There was a rumor last year that the Washington Wizards said that the Cavs wanted to go to the number 2 seed, so that way they wouldn't have to play the Washington Wizards in the first round.
False.
Yeah, that was
And then LeBron went and dropped 50 points on the Wizards that night, and this season after that report came out. And surprisingly enough, the Wizards are talking an awful lot of trash for how average they're playing right now this year.
They're currently
it's really weird.
7th in the Eastern Conference,
and it's not
behind the New York Knicks.
So it might be interesting, and I heard it. I saw a joke on Twitter that the Cavs might just tank to be the 8th seeds, that way they can destroy the Boston Celtics in the first round.
Get it over with.
See what happens from there and take an easy road to the finals. But I just gotta say, it's difficult for me to not get behind the Boston Celtics and what they're doing. Kyrie's playing out of his mind.
Oh my,
Definitely
insane.
is.
I was watching him last night against the Lakers, just brilliance. And he's just so much fun to watch.
And speaking of the Lakers,
Yeah.
the one man on that team whose brother just got arrested in China for shoplifting, I believe.
Yep.
Was it China or was it?
It was China.
China.
It was China. The latest reports is his punishment is going to be spending 20 days in a luxury hotel. So it's going to be like house arrest for 20 days. But their house is this luxury hotel that the team was staying at.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I heard he hasn't been able to talk to any of his coaches, any of his friends.
He hasn't talked to anybody.
Yeah, he can't talk to anybody. He's just chilling in the hotel.
And I'm not saying this in a rude way, but I've watched these shows on the balls and stuff, and
Ball in the family.
Ball in the family. He's very basketball minded. He doesn't seem like some guy that
Would just shop.
knows how to handle a situation like this.
Yeah, I mean he's a 18-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I'm not very worried about this situation.
He doesn't. I don't think he has much street smarts. Is what I'm trying to say.
He was just a dumb mistake. Probably didn't think they were gonna get caught whatsoever.
I don't know what happened. It's still so confusing on what went down and how those 3 are
It's really
involved.
clear yet about what did actually happen, other than the fact that it was shoplifting.
Yeah.
Well, shifting facts from somebody who's stealing in China versus somebody who's stealing on the court, Lonzo Ball is kind of struggling, to say the least, this season. He's been very inconsistent. There have been games where he goes off and he looks like one of the best players on the court. But right now, the Lakers are just himself.
Lakers are playing well.
The Lakers are playing pretty well.
They gave Celtics a ride last night. The Celtics were killing them, and they just slowly came back, and the Celtics couldn't do anything about it.
Lonzo's averaging per game, he is totaling about 8 points and 6 assists and 6 rebounds while shooting
It's awful.
23% from 3-point and 29% from the field.
29. Oh.
And it's very difficult to see. We knew that his jump shot needed work, and I'm not saying that it can't blossom into something better. And everybody was like, well, if it goes in, it doesn't matter as long as it goes in. But
I think I was one of those
right now
people.
it's not going in.
and right now, I don't think it's
Nothing's going in.
I have a point on this.
Yeah.
I think this is just annoying me, and it was bound to happen, and I hope he knows this happened. All eyes are on him.
Yeah,
this is a great learning experience for him. He's gonna realize that it's not gonna go right every time. I think everyone just pounding on him. He's not playing horrible.
No,
like you said, he's having good
been
numbers.
distributing
It's
really
because
he's the leader of that team right
Exactly. It's because people expect so much of him that no matter what numbers they put up, it's not going to be good enough. So I think this is going to end when he has those rough games. He knows it. He realizes it.
Imagine if he was. The Lakers right now are playing awfully well for their
Yeah,
expectations.
yeah.
Imagine if he was shooting 50% from the field and 35 or 40 from 3.
So like I'm saying, I think this is a learning experience. Give him this year. I don't think...
Oh, yeah. He's got
you
tons.
can't count him out after this year. I think next year is going to be a better year.
Quick question.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think that, according to advanced statistics, do you think Lonzo Ball has a higher box plus minus on the offensive side or the defensive side of the ball?
I'd say defensive. He's not a good on-ball defender, but he's a good help defender. He's gonna get steals and stuff. He's good help on help defense.
What do you think, Cam?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I guess I'd have to go with defense as well.
Well, you'd be right. Do you guys know what his offensive box plus minus is?
Probably minus. Yeah.
It's negative 3.5.
Oh man,
which is really difficult. His defensive box plus minus is 2.0.
Yeah, he's a very good.
He's a positive defender.
He's turning off not turn off. He turns over a lot. He has some trouble controlling the ball. People just love it. People just love messing with him. Pretty much, they like to go hard against him, which he's going to have to deal with for his entire career.
Yeah, if anything, like you said, I think it's going to be a great just learning curve for him. I mean, he's got a target on his back right now from literally every NBA player, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about him right now.
He's totaling a majority of his shots come from at the rim, so from 3 feet and in. And then it's like a third of his shots come from 3 feet and in, and about 40% of his shots come from three.
He's got to work on his
which is really difficult, and his true shooting percentage is around 35%. So it's not to say that and he's doing pretty well defensive rebounding wise. So he's starting the break and he's getting there and he's getting those nice outlet passes that we expect from Lonzo Ball. But to see him struggle this early and just be so inconsistent is what is troubling to me. Not necessarily as a fan of basketball or Lonzo Ball or a Lakers fan, but just to see him thrown into the fire this quickly and to understand that he has a lot of pressure and there's a lot of those opposing point guards who are going to go after Lonzo Ball because his name is Lonzo Ball. I think that it's important to notice that he's being used an awful lot. He's around 20%, which is one of the higher usage rates in the NBA at this point. And I think that he could put it together, especially if he has the defense down.
Oh, definitely.
Being a positive defender early on in your career is something that should be noted. And I think that it's difficult to see it right now, but perhaps he could, come in and...
Right. And yeah, it doesn't help either that a lot of the rookies are playing very, very well right now. That just makes him look even a little bit worse.
Yeah, whenever he's on the court, the team's -3.25, and whenever he's off the court, he's -3.6. So it's he doesn't help. He kind of helps the team be positive whenever he's on the floor by 0.2. Mm-hmm. But whenever he's off, it's interesting, especially when you compare it to that of. I'm not gonna get all sixery on you, but Ben Simmons is doing his thing.
He's killing it.
He's killing it. Consensus rookie of the year, in my opinion.
Oh, at this point, definitely. I mean, honestly, he's looked like one of the best players in the entire league so far.
I think you forgot the curse of the 76ers. He'll get hurt at some point this season.
Yeah, maybe.
Just wait for that.
Oh well. I don't know, man. It's rough. What's his name? Michael Carter-Williams won Rookie of the Year. Back in the day.
Forgot about that.
So that was before. That was when Nerlens Noel was hurt. So,
that was the beginning of the process right there.
Yeah, it was the process was born. Shout out to Stan Hinkey.
People, I think, are jumping the gun on the 76ers right now. I think there's going to be... Yeah, I think there's going to be a problem where that people are going to expect good things this year, but at the same time, I think it's still going to be a couple years until the 76ers are, competing at a level that these fans want.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Sixers, definitely a team to watch. Moving on to their Eastern Conference rival, a team who is doing surprisingly well for how terrible their roster is. The New York Knicks. They beat the Cavs a couple nights ago. I know that was a fact. Mm-hmm. They're sitting at about 6-5 right now, and Kristaps Porzingis, the unicorn,
he is absolutely killing it right now.
Flames coming off.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming to Boston anytime soon.
No, I don't think so. Not anymore. He's averaging 30 a game, 30 even per game right now. 7.5 rebounds, over 2 blocks. He has been sensational. He was Kyrie's been really good. Just like Porzingis, he's been incredible so far this year. I think one big thing with the Knicks playing this well, with Porzingis playing this well and just looking so dominant, I'm excited for free agency to see just what kind of interest maybe other players will have in coming to New York now if they continue how they're playing currently.
I saw a very funny tweet. I think it's from Bill Simmons. He's like, "Okay, who's going to be the first one to write that Phil actually did save the Knicks?" I found that.
I mean, it is Phil's guy, so I mean.
I feel like it wasn't Phil's guy to begin with. I feel like they were in the sport, like they were just kind of like, we'll take whoever comes to us at 4. I don't think that they were like. Yeah. I heard that people were like inside that organization that Phil was gunning for Justice Winslow.
How about Justice Winslow has really not turned out. Still can't shoot, can't score,
can defend kind
I
of.
don't think I've heard the Heat like as a team at all this year. I don't think I've heard their name in anything.
Basketball. They're playing some basketball.
They're playing very average basketball, to say the least.
An interesting thing that I don't feel like enough people are giving credit to. Tim Hardaway Jr., man, he's doing some things. He's shooting fairly well. He's taking about 8 3-pointers a game, and he's knocking down 30%, which, isn't the greatest at this moment in time, but he's averaging 17 points. At 25 years of age, he can,
He's a great heat check kind of guy.
He's very nice. He's like the rookie of Kentucky, Malik Monk. Whenever he's hot, he's hot.
He's hot. Whenever he's cold, he is cold.
Ice cold. Lots of bricks coming from Tim Hardaway. But, he plays the most for them right now. He's averaging close to, 34 minutes a game, above Kristaps even. And Courtney Lee coming in at number 3 in turn, as far as minutes per game, is kind of disturbing. But, it's Courtney Lee. What can you do?
I think Enes Kanter's been playing well for them, too. It's been a little bit of a surprise. He was kind of... I don't want to say a bust, but he very underperformed when he was in Oklahoma City. The last couple of years, he's really taken the next step for his career as well.
I'm just depressed that we aren't seeing more of Willie or Billy Hernangomez. He was awesome last year, and I really enjoyed it whenever he came out on the floor. And now he's only playing 10 minutes a game, and it's really frustrating to me. He has the potential to be something great, and yet they're gonna waste it on a guy like Enes Kanter.
The Enes Kanter effect, right?
It's I feel like it's just stalling the progress. Meanwhile, Mr. Frank the Tank Ntilikina
he's been tremendous on defense.
Tremendous on defense, terrible on offense.
Terrible on offense. Yeah, that's true.
He doesn't look like a point guard, in my opinion.
Sorry, just one more note on Hernangomez. He played 8 minutes yesterday versus the Magic, scored 8 points. Had 3 rebounds.
People sleep on Hernangomez so much, and it annoys me. And I get it. Kyle O'Quinn's probably a little bit better, but I feel like Hernangomez is only 23, and you could give him so many more.
So he was originally drafted by the Sixers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what can you do? I enjoy Hernangomez a lot. I thought he was one of the best coming out of the draft. But I'm surprised with the latest heat coming out of the Madison Square Garden. They're a top 10 offensive team in the league right now, sitting close to the bottom half defensively. So they're going to put up a lot of points on you, especially the Kristaps putting up 30 a game, and they're going to let you score on them because they have no real rim protection as far as a center goes in Enes Kanter. Oh, man. Fellas, and we'll start off with, we'll kind of end our segment here. We're coming to the end of our show. We'll go with, where do you think, or who do you think will be the next person traded? Who will be the next person traded? And man, where will they go?
Boy, that's... What are you thinking, Eddie?
I'm thinking... I don't see people moving Jahlil Okafor anytime soon. I think the Denver Nuggets move Emmanuel Mudiay.
Oh, I could definitely see that.
I think that I feel like if you flip him to somewhere that's just looking for a young team, I think that, right now they're running Jamal Murray at the point guard position. He's doing awful because he can't run the point.
Would the Nuggets use someone like a Greg Monroe from Phoenix?
I was going to say Phoenix needs a point guard.
Phoenix needs a point guard.
Tyler Ulis, and I can't think of the other guy's name.
Young team doesn't really help that team at all because he can't shoot. You're looking at just a Josh Jackson at the point guard position who's like a worse defender and who turns over the ball a lot more. Josh Jackson's playing all right, by the way, in Phoenix. He's doing his thing. But no, I think Moutier maybe to somewhere like it's a tough call to say where he should go. If I had to take a look at some of the teams that are certainly needing the help right now, I would probably put him on. Maybe you could get the Pelicans to do something with him, or perhaps the Chicago Bulls would want to trade for an Emmanuel Moutier. I think teams like that aren't really helpful for the Nuggets right now. Jokic is playing out of his mind. Gary Harris is playing well, which we expect because we love Gary Harris. But overall, their team's doing really bad, and I think it stems from that point guard position of having Jamal Murray not doing so hot right now for them running the point guard position. Jameer Nelson's okay, but it's difficult. I'm
going to do less of a player, more of a team, and just because I know this for the New York Knicks, Joakim Noah is coming back from a 20-game suspension.
Right.
So, and they have 15 players on their roster right now. So they're going to have to either drop someone or just make a move. And one name I see popping up is like Mindaugas Kuzmanauskas, or however you say it. How do you say it?
I don't even know.
Okay. Mindy. Yeah. They say Mindy might move somewhere, but I could see if I were the Knicks, I'd try and get a draft pick instead of just having to release somebody. So I could see them making a move. I don't see anything like. The reason I'm saying this is because I don't see anything happening anytime soon, like big picture. So just something small like this, I could see happening.
Then the guy I think is the next, maybe not the next, but soon to be traded player is Julius Randle on the Los Angeles Lakers. There's been rumors out that he's a little unhappy with his playing time. Lakers are a little.
Isn't he a starter?
Averaging 18
Not
minutes.
Not really.
Hasn't started this year yet.
Oh, okay.
But
that's weird.
Yeah, he's a little unhappy with his playing time, his role on that team, and the Lakers. With Kyle Kuzma. And it's just, I think the future's starting for Julius Randle is not in a Los Angeles Lakers uniform.
Where do you think he might go? And who for?
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
If I had to take a guess, I would trade him to the Celtics. No, I'm saying that.
No, I know you're
I'm
serious.
saying that seriously.
I know you're.
He's a great rebounder, which is what you guys
ball handler too. He's a very good.
He's a decent ball handler, but like his work on the glass and his motor and his defense can really help a team like the Boston Celtics who need that protection.
Who are we gonna give?
You give a pick. Take a
Pick.
pick.
That's hard.
You have a bunch
much
of
easier said than done.
You have a bunch
my friend.
Like Julius Randle, for a person that for the Lakers who are not going to have their first round pick this year, right?
Yeah.
Would much rather get a mid-level pick and bring somebody in to pair with Lonzo Ball than nobody at all. Rhyming accidentally.
So what? I'm trying to think what picks we have left. We have that Kings pick, don't we? That we got from you guys.
They've still got plenty of picks.
You have plenty of picks. If I had, let me take a look on the total.
Me and Hunter have talked about this off podcast about how much Danny Ainge loves his draft picks, and he treats those like actual players, so he has trouble trading them.
I don't think it's a matter of that. I think it's a matter of getting good value for your for your draft picks, and I don't think that the Celtics necessarily have a lot of valuable draft picks themselves. Apart from the Lakers pick that falls through if it falls through 2 through 5.
Yeah, not the Kings, the Lakers.
But the Kings,
so we would give that back pretty much.
You have, well, you could give it back, but I feel like that's such a valuable pick.
Yeah.
Right now for the Lakers. But you're looking at the future draft picks for the Celtics, and you're looking at, I forget who I think you have the Grizzlies, if I recall. According to Boston.com, here is your future draft picks. In 2018, you have the Lakers pick if it falls between 2 or 5. You have your own pick, which if you guys are going to do well, you know, and you're Julius Randle who's going to help you win a few more games, it wouldn't hurt to give that away. You have the Grizzlies pick, and you have
a first rounder from the Clippers.
Yep, you got the Clippers pick as well. So I think you could trade either of those 2019 picks, or if the Lakers wanted something now, I would say you could throw in your pick this year, and maybe somebody who you don't need, like a bench player.
Like a Shane Larkin, maybe.
Yeah, like a Shane Larkin, or, you know, you guys, who's another one of your guys' two-way contracts? Hold on, let me,
Daniel Theis, I don't know. He seems kind of, expendable.
Yes, people, people like that. Somebody who, like, will help the Lakers kind of grow a little bit, but, like, get rid of Julius Randle. So I think that would be an excellent choice if the Lakers were going to go ahead and move a Julius Randle.
Yeah, I just got to say, I've taken Aaron Baines for granted. I'm very much enjoying watching him play. He a very hard worker.
He had a great season with the Spurs whenever he was in San Antonio. And
he's a hard worker.
He went to Detroit and just didn't play a whole lot, didn't play that well. But yeah, he's definitely playing better in Boston.
And it's great to see Hayward's improvement. I've been seeing videos out that he's been working in the gym.
Yeah, that's
great to see.
For a Gordon Hayward injury update. So it's good to see that the Celtics are committed. And who knows, they might bring in a Julius Randle during the All-Star break. But with that being said, this has been the Triple Double Podcast. If you aren't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please give us a comment. Please go to our website. Support us in any way, shape, or form that you can. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Triple Double Podcast, Twitter at Triple Double Pod. We post all the time letting you know when the newest episode goes up so you never, ever miss a pod. This has been the Triple Double Podcast. I'm Eddie Fitzgerald.
I'm Cam McKee.
And just before we go, I'm Hunter Nicely, but the Marcin Gortat update is defensive box plus minus is down to 1.1.
Oh, give it some time. He's going to turn it around.
They are one of the better defensive teams in the league, if I'm forgetting that.
No, they are as a team.
They're like one of the better defenses in the league. So, who knows? Marcin Gortat, the future's out there. Make sure you guys have a great day. We'll see you next time.